Hey Insiders, we've got a very special guest joining us here today who's recently just gone through our flagship course, LMA, Life Mastery Achievers. And she's just come on here today to share how her experience was going through LMA and everything else in between. I just want to say it's so great to have you here. And maybe just to start off, we could just ask you what your name is, where you're from, and what it is that you currently do right now.
My name is Lynn Thompson, and I'm coming to you guys from Atlanta, Georgia, USA. And I am a retired airline worker.
Beautiful, beautiful. And what would you say, Lynn, your biggest problem or challenge was that you were currently facing prior to joining LMA?
Procrastinating working. Now, I was great at work, all in. But when I got home, my old motto was I sleep for a living and I work in my spare
Wow, wow.
time.
How long was that
So,
happening for? How long was that happening for, that period?
um, I love, well, now since joining the LMA, I have a whole new outlook on life. And although I've always been an upbeat, beat, happy person, but I didn't realize how some of the past trauma that I kind of thought I was past was actually impacting my life, and sleep being one of them. And trust me, I've been sleeping a lot, a long time. Well, I think it really kind of started like once my I have three adult sons now, but of course, if you're a mom, you're not going to be you're not going to be sleeping. So I think once the all of the boys were gone out of the house, it kind of was like a gradual thing, and then it got to be more and more. um, I was a functioning sleeper. Basically, if I didn't have, I always had something to do, but in my mind, if I was at home, it was things if I didn't really have to do it, I wasn't doing it.
Wow.
And even though those little things just kind of added up, and then the things just started spiraling.
Mm.
It went from, just a little bit clutter to a lot of clutter. And then it was like, oh no, I can't take this. So um, just like I said, I lived to sleep. It was crazy. It was
And
really,
so, how did LMA come along your journey then after being in this place that you've just shared about and those feelings that you were going through? How did LMA come onto your path?
it actually helped me to take a deep dive into myself and basically like sleep, not only sleeping, but like gradual weight gain, because I'm very athletic. I'm a volleyball player, I love to run, just outgoing. I love the outdoors. I like, but it was like, why am I doing this? And then when I started to, I think especially when we got to the introduce yourself to your newborn self and then your younger self, and I was like, wow. And
Mm.
then the light, it was almost like it was just like a aha, like what just
Yeah.
happened here?
Have
And
any did you have any like hesitations towards joining the LMA program before signing up? Did you have any like doubts or concerns or were you skeptical at all? And if so, how did you overcome them and choose to step forward in faith?
honestly, I was watching an inspirational video online, which I often did, and then the advert came up with Tim, and it was almost like an instant connection. And
Mm.
then I'm a really big fan of master classes. And then I was like, oh my God,
Wow.
this guy, and you know how most adverts you're like, okay, what are they doing here?
Yeah.
And he was like, uh, I would describe him as like a light in a dark place, because he was being uh, forthcoming, he was being transparent,
Mm.
and then, like, when he was talking about different things like faith over fear, and these were things that, sayings that I already had.
Yeah.
and anybody, that knows me, I'm like people either at work, they either love me or hate me because I'd get her and welcome to work. It was like, oh my God, here she comes. So I've always, had a positive outlook on life. I've always, we grew up, in a faith-based family and, just do unto others. But it was just something like, I was like, I know there's something more for me. And then, being the youngest of eight, I was like a little kid, like looking up at all these giant people, like, what are you doing? What is she doing? And so it was like, Tim, like, of course, I was the tallest. I was always, taller than most kids. And of course, there's bullying and didn't really have that, a lot of, like racial things, racial issues until I moved to Georgia. It was like, oh my God, it was like really weird. It was like going back into a time warp. And like a lot of the things that resonated with me was like his life experience. Although there were similarities, they were not identical. But I was like, oh my God. And then I listened because I never listened to advertisements. And then the more I listened, I was like, "Oh wow, I'm definitely gonna see what
Amen.
this guy is talking about." And the master class. By the end of that master class, I joined. It was like
Fantastic.
you don't have to sell me because
Yeah, you were in.
I'm a very, very I feed off of energy,
Mm,
and I have a saying that rejection is protection
mm,
because everyone is not supposed to be in your life.
mm,
And of course, you're going to meet a lot of, I met a lot of amazing people. Different people are going to connect with different people,
mm.
and now, and like I said, some of the things that I'm learning is just kind of like enhancing the beliefs that I already had, and also helping me to realize that, some of those things, that were taught to me as a child, they are not so, and they are not going to make me my best authentic self. While the intentions were good, it wasn't working for me.
Yeah. So what would you say from your experience of going through the LMA course? What would you say has been your, let's say, what surprised you the most or made you the most happiest about the experience that you've encountered throughout LMA?
Really authentic connections. I felt welcomed, and you guys got me to join Facebook because oh my God, I because it's so much, so many toxic things out here in the world. And I'm just the thing was it was private. That's why, and because I joined, they wouldn't even let me go live for like 30 days. I guess they wanted to because I had no friends added on there. The LMA group was my own contact on there. So then I started reaching out to people in the group, like, I need you guys to I need you guys to give me some friend requests. And then
Yeah.
I had it so private they couldn't send them to me. So, but it was actually people that I wanted to connect with.
Mm.
And of
How
course,
important was that on your journey? How important was that to be able to have people that you could connect with and go through the journey with?
well, also what I discovered was, of course, sometimes when you experience trauma or wounded, um, you're on defense and you're like, oh God,
Yeah.
what do they want?
Yeah.
It is- and so for before I was able to go live and had the courage to actually put a video, even before I was going live, did a couple of videos and then just posted them. The thing was when I began to watch some of the posts and saw how some of the really, really, really tough challenges that other LMA members were sharing, and I was like, "Oh my God, how courageous, is that?" And a little light can do a great deal in a dark place. And although I had to make some transformations, um, I was more like frustrated with myself because I knew that I had, that I have so many gifts and talents and things to do, but I just didn't know how to get started. And I was really like stuck. And then with all the mayhem going on in the airline industry, and Sky took his mask off, coughed in my face. I saw, coworkers get assaulted. It was like craziness. And I was like, you know what? And I love customer service. I've worked in customer service for 40 years. And it's not for everybody. And it was a gift. And I mean, I met people from all different walks of life, and I've rescued people, that were in domestic violence situations, just helped them to get to a safe place. I mean, just different things, and people were traveling for a whole bunch of different reasons. And after a while, when you're dealing with everyone else's problems, and I'm a nurturer, you know, that's just who I am. And just I got so caught up in helping other people, I was like just literally like dying inside. And then when I took the leap of faith in August, I realized, I need more. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And you know how deep down inside, you really know what you're supposed to be doing, but that means less sleeping, you know, having to get out of your safe space.
Yeah.
And then, I moved into a brand new home and I was like, oh, cool. I can sleep. I don't have to be bothered. I don't have to go to work.
Yeah.
So my whole life revolved around sleep. And then I realized it was an escape.
Mm.
It was an escape because even though I wasn't like consciously thinking about the different things that happened over the years, going back to all the way 8 years young,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh my God, LMA was life changing,
Wow.
and I shared on the post. I've been in therapy on and off for the past 8 years, and guess what, Liam? Week 3, I was discharged from my therapist. She was like, "Well, who are you? Like, what are you doing?"
Wow.
Like, she was like, "I want you to give me some counseling."
Okay.
And I shared with her, and she was like, "Oh my God." She says, "Oh my God." She was like, "Lynn," she said, "I am so happy for you." She was like,
Wow.
because of course, post pandemic, everybody's still doing video chat, so that was good for me because
Yeah.
I could have my pajamas on and
Yeah. Be comfortable. Yeah.
not leave the house.
Wow.
So
That's
and
beautiful.
I couldn't believe how fast the transformation was.
Wow.
And then like week 4, it was like a lot of like aha moments. Then week
Mm.
5, and then he did the whole slide on my life,
Wow.
like sleeping and the cortisol, like affecting your midsection. And I was like, I had migraines, anxiety. I had a panic attack at work one time.
Mm.
I was like, it was like, how did this guy get in my life? I was like, he should be paying me for who I am.
Yeah. And Lynn, you said there as well, you mentioned that you've done like master classes and you love master classes. What was so different about this master class LMA compared to any other courses or programs that you've been a part of?
Excuse me, it was personal. It was personal because a lot of the classes I watched, they're like, inspirational or informational, like a horticulture class about, soil composting and, just different things. I'm a lifelong learner,
Mm.
and you have to, and I knew because um, I'm not really you meet a lot of people that are all knowing. I've met a lot of Wizards of Oz.
I love that.
But it wasn't like he wasn't like trying to be like a know-it-all, like, I have this dissertation and, you know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
wasn't all of that,
yeah.
because um because it was something that you can not just use at that moment. It
Mm,
was something that you wanted to learn more about, and not only just learn about it, but you
yeah,
wanted to apply it to your life. And that was like big,
beautiful,
big, big.
beautiful. And following on from there, final question here today. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience. And
I'm glad to be here.
yeah, it's great to have you, and your energy and your vibe is so contagious. But what advice would you give to people who are considering joining LMA, who are maybe sitting on the fence, they want to do it, but like they haven't stepped forward in faith right now in this moment? What advice could you give to those people having gone through the course, having these personal transformations? What would you say to those people?
Do it. Do it. If even if you add up all the streaming subscriptions and garbage that, eh, do it.
Yeah.
Do it, because your life will never be the same, and it's like real things that you can use in everyday life, and it's transformational, it's inspirational, and I am so glad that I joined.